We are just 27 days away from this year's World Darts Championship. Someone who won't be there, well, not in a working capacity this time round, is the legendary voice of the sport, Russ Bray, who retired last year. He joined Breakfast last week. He had this to say on the meteoric rise that darts has had in recent years.
What it's done is it's developed now from what was essentially a pub sport. You go down a local working men's club, smoke-filled halls, where guys are playing darts, drinking beers. What they've done is made it professional now.
Yeah.
It's like Sunday league football to go to professional football. It's a similar sort of transition. And of course, you've now got big money involved, you've got big companies involved with sponsorships and all the rest of it. So it had to be
a bit more responsibility.
Lots more responsibility. We've got a lot of youngsters in there. We have a development tour where you've got kids that are not allowed to drink or anything like that, so auditoriums you can't smoke in. So everything within the whole game has really been cleaned up and tightened up. You've still got some wonderful, wonderful characters. It doesn't allow the characters like you used to have, your Bristows, your Wilsons and all the rest of it today, because, like you say, they are serious. These guys are playing, for a life-changing money.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what it's about.
And it's amazing to think, isn't it, Barry? We go back to the Circus Tavern in Purfleet, and the World Darts Championship in those days, we were just saying, it was the World Darts Championship in name, but the truth is, it was a load of Brits, and John Part, and that was pretty much it. And now it's a worldwide event.
This year's World Championship, there are over 40 countries represented.
Wow.
There are qualifying rounds happening all year round. There are leagues everywhere from Lithuania to London. I mean, it's an astonishing story of a business that developed on the back of an English pub culture, where everyone has thrown a dart at some stage in their life, haven't they? Some of them didn't hit the dartboard, but they all know that it's quite tough. And the great thing about darts is what it is maintained is it's ordinary people. Most dart players look like someone who lives round the corner to your mum, and they are ordinary people, but with extraordinary ability. And now they're beginning, they are getting, and it's going to go up and up, the rewards that this type of support deserves.
Yeah.
When we go back to our days, Jeff, from the first days, the prize money for the entire year was around £300,000 for the entire season. So this year it'll exceed 20 million. And I think that figure will double in the next 3 or 4 years, because we're now being looked upon, looked by broadcasters, looked by sponsors as being a major sport in its own right. The snobbishness has disappeared. Oh, a darts player, what a fat bloke who smokes, Well, actually, no, because it's going to be taken over more and more by youngsters that are just smelling the money. We've got so many kids that tried football, for example, Stuart, and you know how tough that is when you have to put your arm around a 17-year-old kid and say, you're not going to make it, son. But they've got that application in their mind about dedication, sacrifice, hard work.
Yeah.
Transfer that to a darts board in your bedroom, costs no money, and suddenly you've got a format basis underneath the professional tour, which will mean they can make a living and learn to go on from there.
If you were an aspiring sort of, 13, 14-year-old, or academies you can go to.
Oh, yeah. We have a development tour. We have the Junior Darts Corporation, which does a fabulous job, and they are now spreading all over the world. They're big in Europe, but now we just started in the Middle East, and we started in America. That's from age 6 to 16. And that's more, it teaches you mathematics, it teaches you, it actually replaces you remember the old youth clubs we used to go to? It was ping pong, wasn't it, and volleyball or whatever. Now it's all darts. And that gospel of that is spreading, getting people interested. And then when you're 16, you can make a decision, do you want to have a go on the developmental tour? So there's hundreds and hundreds of kids, and there's 20-odd tournaments a year, which they can play and win a little bit of money, not a fortune.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you dream of going to Q School.
Yeah.
And this year there'll be over 2,000 players from all over the world at Q School trying for 32 seeds. It's very, very tough. But then the sport is tough.
Yeah.
So, and once you get your Willy Wonka, your golden ticket, you're up and running. And then it's down to you. And it's about like everything else in life, whether it's business, whether it's sport, it's about sacrifice. It's about making that extra effort. It's about passion. It's about believing in yourself. And there's so many lovely stories of kids that perhaps got bullied at school or a bit shy.
Yeah.
They went home, bought a dartboard, they stuck it on their bedroom door. One of those kids that we've been watching since he was 7 was a kid called Luke Littler.
Yeah.
And, and the rest is history, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and his PR man's dream, isn't it? Is what the sport, you know, he's got so much going for it, but to have someone like Luke Littler come through. Look, you've seen the greats.
Yeah.
You've seen the Johnny Lowe's and the Eric Bristows and the Phil Tells and the Van Gerwens.
Yeah.
How good could he be?
Well, he could be better than all of them, of course, but you know, you look at someone like Luke Littler, as I say, he wasn't a secret to those people in the inner circles of darts, but what he did last year in the World Championships was simply stunning, because going up on the big stage is like going from Sunday League football to walking out at Wembley. Yeah. It's a different world. But, you know, when you look at these kids and you say, OK, what's he done since then? Well, what he's done since then is probably earn about £1.5 million and he's 17 years old. And he's hitting averages. Numbers don't lie. Pretty well everyone else in this world lies. Numbers never lie. So your 3-dart average is your 3-dart average, and you can pretty well tell if someone's averaging 110, 114, which he regularly does, they're special.
Yeah.
And you can compare that directly with, you know, an Eric Bristow that won the World Championships late 80s, was averaging under 90 per 3 darts. If today you're not capable of doing at least 110, you've got no chance. And this is with the same equipment and the same thing, but in a different environment, a professional environment that says... Yeah. And Phil Taylor led the way because he went to work every day. So he played 6, 7, 8 hours a day. He said, you get quite good after a while. And it's not surprising, but these kids are following in the great Phil's footsteps and the Michael Van Gerwens and putting the work in, and they've got no fear. They've got no fear. They've got no wives. They've got no children. They've got no mortgages. They're just playing darts. I mean, Luke Littler's face on Saturday night was just joy personified. And all he could think about was going home and playing on his Xbox and having a kebab. So you know, simplicity. He wasn't going to jump into his Ferrari because his other Ferrari's in the garage. You know, he's like identifiable to the mass of kids out there saying, well, I want some of that.
You think he'll win the world title this year?
I think he has a great chance. You can never say for sure, but he would be my favourite to win simply on his consistency and the fact that he's got this extra 2 or 3 gears that when required, I mean, his match against Anderson in the semi-finals of the Grand Slam was one of the great games. And Anderson, super, great all-time great player. And the fact that he was, you know, 4 down and reeled off. Yeah, that's special. That's special.
Yeah, he's nerveless. He's absolutely nervous.
Yeah. talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.